Hello everyone, this is Dan the Glassman and you're watching Back to Nature. So today we are in an epidemic or a pandemic and everyone is being affected by this thing called the coronavirus. And so many of us who have basically been teaching a lot of information and knowledge, sharing the knowledge about how to plant your own food, have your own home gardens and everything get started. Right now, all of our expertise and our timing that we've put into this is coming to light. And so many people are coming to us and asking us what they can do, how they can all become involved. So a lot of people are getting involved with planting seeds and getting started with their gardens. So I encourage everyone to do the best they can with collecting as many seeds and heirloom seeds and basically as many varieties of seeds as you possibly can. So a lot of these seeds here, and I have so many more of them, I'm just going to show you just a little handful of them. That these are all organic seeds that came free from the Food is Free Project Albuquerque, and that they basically did a seed swap, a seed exchange at the source recently. So we posted up, and this is all before all of this hit, we posted up that this is a great place to get all your seeds. So if you miss this opportunity, well, we can still get you seeds from them, but it may be more difficult now because seeds are in high demand. These are pretty much money now. We can sell these or we can trade them. These have a huge value now compared to other things in the world. So with that being said, I want to just show you a couple simple ways on how to get your seeds started. So one method that I like to do, and as you can see over here, we have these bottles here, and these are self-watering containers. And simply what you do is you take any bottle, any sort of bottle, so that we have a variety of different bottles here. As you can see, this is a 2-liter bottle, and we have little tiny bottles. A lot of times I will use bottles like the regular 16-ounce drinking bottles like these here. And what we do is we cut the tops off, and more than halfway, so about 3/4 of the way up, you cut it here, put a hole through the top, right through the cap, so you can then extend a wick, some kind of material that's going to pull up the water to absorb the water, the moisture up into the cup here. And so this is a piece of yarn, and you simply just put that directly in here. You fill this top up with soil, very simply, like this. You want to make sure that that wick gets pulled through, so we'll just make sure that that wick is up in there as well. And you fill this up with a little bit of soil, just like that. And then you fill the bottom up with water. So this is your water reservoir. So this is going to hold your water. And this is like the root system. It's an artificial root system. So we're basically going to fill up the water reservoir and allow the roots to become watered. So the plant will then absorb as much water as possible. Now you want to fill up your water basically right to where the cap is. You don't want it to overflow above that, or else you'll have root rot. You'll have problems with your plants just rotting out on you. So that's called root rot. So you want to make sure that your soil is moist, but not over moist and oversaturated. And so that's why we don't water through the top. We just allow this wick to pull as much water and moisture up that it will need. So we can do this with many different varieties. So we have the smaller systems there. We have these larger systems. So you can use any sort of bottle as long as the top fits into the bottom. And sometimes, you know, the bottles may be shaped a little bit differently, so your water reservoirs will be different. They'll have different amounts, different amounts of space. So this is also another version here, the 2-liter bottle. So what I explain to everyone that they should do is to start out with these smaller ones here. So we planted a few basil. So we have some babies coming up right now, and these were planted just last week, and they're going to take a little bit of time before they're big enough to where then I can either trade them or sell them out. They're usually $3 each or 2 for $5, but we will be doing trades. And then once they get to that point where they're a lot bigger, then they can be moved into a much larger container. As you can see, we have a avocado plant, well, an avocado tree, which The avocados actually sprout really well in these self-watering systems. They stay moist, and it's basically like having suspending a seed in a glass jar with the toothpicks around it. If you just keep the seed in the moist soil, it'll grow, as you can see. I don't know how soon this is going to sprout up any avocados. May take a couple years or so, but at least we have that going. So you can grow a lot of different varieties of plants with those systems. Now once you go bigger than the 2-liter bottle system, then we have here a Dutch bucket system. And a Dutch bucket system is basically two 5-gallon buckets on top of each other. The center has a hole cut into it, and I'll go into a detailed a workshop. We're going to do a videoed workshop on how to build one of these. So we'll come back and we'll show you how to build one entirely. But it has a wick inside the center. Basically, we're using a cup similar to these cups here. And you just put a slice here and here, like 3 or 4 slices on it. So that way you fill this up with soil, and this sits in the water on the very bottom. So if you have this and this on top, you'll have 4 inches on the bottom there. And this will sit directly in the soil on the bottom, or directly in the water on the bottom. So this will be your wick. It pulls the water up into the soil that sits on top of it here. So you basically pack the soil tightly here, fill this up loosely with soil, and on the side here, I don't know if you can see, I'll turn this around, there's a bottle here, and this is actually a watering tube. It goes all the way down to the bottom, so we basically fill the water up here instead of watering the top, and then the wick pulls the water up into the soil here. So these are some really quick methods on how to get your seeds started right now, especially at this time. Another cool thing is you can get these small little yogurt cups, and whether you're doing a wicking system or not, these are excellent for starting your seeds in. So without a hole, just put some seeds in there, or soil, and then add some seeds and water them every day. Or put a hole through the bottom, put a wick in there, put it in any sort of a cup that it's going to fit into. You can even use a larger cup, so then you have a bigger watering system. You just need a longer wick. And depending on how strong your wick is, you can make your bottling system, the water reservoir, really large if your wick can pull that water up into the soil. So we can actually have a huge tube with these in there, and you wouldn't have to water them for maybe a year even. I've never gone that big. I've never seen how big of a water reservoir I can make yet, but I do know that these ones here, when you start them out and you fill them up with water at first, it's usually 1 month before you have to water them again. But once the plants start growing, they're going to drink more water, so then you'll have to start watering them every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, then once a week. And once you get to that point, you want to go with a bigger system there, and then go to an even bigger system. So try out these methods here, get your seeds started, plant them. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, please comment below. And also be sure to like and subscribe to my channel here. I'll have a lot more information for you on surviving coronavirus. Thank you so much for watching. This is Dan the Glass Man. We'll help you all get back to nature.